They actually banned the New York Post X account
That was
completely.
Yes, they did.
If they
Yes.
didn't take down their true story. I mean, that is the most
Yes,
blatant
except
attack on free
Piers,
speech I've ever seen.
but it's not free speech. It's not a government institution. Companies do that. Disney didn't put out a movie in China because the Chinese
It doesn't
government
make it
did.
right, though, does it?
Of course not, but it's not, you're
I-
equating Facebook. You're equating Facebook or Twitter with the government. It is not a public square.
No,
It
no,
is
I'm
a
not. No,
private
I'm not.
square
I'm not.
To be
I'm
owned by
clear,
talking.
I
billionaires.
certainly was not. Listen,
No.
I was not equating Facebook and the FBI, and I think it is reasonable to point out that a lot of these big tech companies were under duress really since Donald Trump won in 2016. All the heads were hauled in front of Congress and threatened up and down if they didn't get this misinformation problem under control. But is the claim here that those intelligence officers made a mistake and really thought this was Russian disinformation,
here's what I'm saying
and
is
then
our
realized it
government,
was Hunter Biden's laptop?
our government should be talking. Go ahead.
Tim, no, let Kara finish her point, then I'll bring you in, Tim.
The government should constantly be talking to lots of companies because there are disinformation campaigns from Iran, Russia. You can't pretend that China's not all up in our grill. You just can't. You just can't. And there should be discussions between government and companies. They're going to occur. By the way, they've been occurring since the beginning of time, way back when, go watch Oppenheimer. There's discussions happening all the time on all levels between companies. The question is, what is pressure and what is important discussions that these companies, because they are at the nexus of all these information systems, should be having, and what are the guardrails against government overreaching? I am all for stopping government overreach. I did a great interview with Edward Snowden about this issue. Perhaps the way he did it wasn't right, but what the government was doing was wrong. They fixed it. There should be guardrails around these things. The question is how it's done. But what happens is there's a fever dream on the left and a fever dream on the right of what's occurring, and it's a little less nefarious. I think that Facebook, unfortunately, occupies a far too important role in news distribution as a kind of a monopoly. And that's the problem we have going forward. It's a private company that's determining what everybody sees. And they're going to not just make mistakes. We're at the behest of Mark Zuckerberg's obviously incompetent ability to decide what's right and wrong.